Real life.
Oh, baby, I need to know. I've been fantasizing, and we got a lot of time. Baby, can throw the pipe, gotta know what it's like, yeah, yeah. Oh, baby, I need to know. What's your size? Head subjectified. Daddy don't throw no goals. Hold up, I'm going wide. We could just start at 10. Then we could go to 5. I don't play with my pen. I mean what I write, yeah, yeah. Whoa, whoa, whoa. You can't help but be sexual. Tell me your schedule. I got a lot of new tricks for you, baby. Just saying I'm flexible. I do what it can to get you up. Not just fucking with my makeup on. Either like I need an apron on. Either till I need to change my gun. You can do it to your favorite song. Took a ride into the danger zone. You know my nigga be bugging me. I just be wondering if you can fuck with me better. Itching for me like an ugly sweater. Need an image like a chucking each other. I need to know. Wanna know what it's like. Baby, show me what it's like. I don't really got no type. I just wanna fuck all night. Yeah, yeah. Oh. Baby, I need to know. I've been fantasizing, and we got a lot of time. Baby, can throw the pipe, gotta know what it's like. Yeah, yeah. Oh. Baby, I need to know. You're exciting, boy, come find me. Your eyes hold me, girl, come like me. For that feeling, both us fighting. Could he try? Most likely. Trying to see if you could handle the sex. Probably give us a panic attack. Sorry if I gave a random erection. Probably thinking I'm a telekinetic. Oh, wait, you a fan of the magic? Poof, pussy like an Alakazam. I heard from a friend of a friend that dick was a 10 out of 10. I can't stand it, just one night. Drink with the drink, give me a sip. Tell me what you can, give me the dick. Thank me, slap me, choke me.
What up, Kelsey?
Wait, I can take it, give a fuck about what your wife is saying. Wanna know what it's like? Baby, show me what it's like. I don't really got no type. I just wanna
Girl,
fuck
this
all
thing
night.
is falling
Yeah.
apart, honey.
Oh. Baby,
My
I
God.
need to know. I've been fantasizing, and we got a lot of time. Baby, can throw the pipe, gotta know what it's like. Yeah, yeah. Oh. Baby, I need to know.
I made steak in the air fryer. All right. This was Summer Walker and SZA.
I'm glad you said that because I was gonna say it was that Doja Cat.
But Doja Cat ain't got no soul.
Henny, listen, I don't listen. I'm now that age.
Old.
Bitch, we the same age, ho.
You're older.
Bitch, we the same. 2 weeks. Like, don't do that.
20 days.
20 days. So what?
You old, girl.
We is the same age, honey.
You got more life experience than I do.
One would think that, wouldn't they?
And
One
they would be right.
one would think that, and that is absolutely not true. Hey, family, how are y'all doing? Thank you for joining us again this week. Farrelly is over there enjoying a steak that he made in the air fryer on this evening. He's very impressed by it. He said it's very, was it moist?
It's cooked. It's good.
And
Oh, baby.
it's gone, baby. So before we jump into tonight's topics, make sure that you like us, follow us, and subscribe to us on all social media platforms. And that you join us every week as we go live on Facebook platform at 7 o'clock every Thursday, 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So the song for this week was just played. The thing to watch this week, it's not a movie. I didn't watch a movie this week. I did plan on watching some Tubi movies because I've been seeing a lot. I have been seeing a lot of people talk about these Tubi movies, and I actually saw a preview for one. I think it's called In Broad Daylight or In Daylight or something. And I've been meaning to watch it for 3 days. So I'm going to watch some of these Tubi movies where they say the same three actors be on every movie, and they can't act, but the storylines is too good to turn. So
Yeah.
Tubi, that's TUBI. I will be watching some of those movies and reporting live to you next week on what I have found. But the TV show that caught me by surprise, I watched it at maybe Sunday night, was Abbott Elementary.
Oh yeah, it's great.
It is a great show, well written. I don't know the black lady on there, her real life name, but I've been following her since she was doing Tasty. She was doing, what's that other online,
I don't know who shall
when
she.
they do like little skits and stuff. She used to be on there, and that's how I remember her. But basically she's written the show, and so I'm happy to see her
Oh,
glow.
she wrote this. I didn't know. Now that part I didn't know.
Yeah, she's a writer for the show, to her show, and so I'm happy to see her glow up. And Chris from Everybody Hates Chris is also in the show. He is the heartthrob teacher. So anyway, check it out. It is kind of like, what is it, The Office or Recreation? Well, it's like one of those type of shows as far as comedy. If you're looking to see what type of comedy it is, it's kind of like The Office. So that is the shows for the week. Further, did you have anything before we jump in?
I went to see. Y'all don't know this, but I'm a movie buff. Like I love movies. I go to the movies now just to see what's in there and say, just give me what's playing at this time. Because
Yeah.
if it's in the theater, it's worth watching. Is how I go into movies. So I saw Kingsman this week.
Oh, how was that?
You know, I'm a fan of the franchise anyway,
Hmm.
so I was already excited to see how it came to be. And so it's a really great coming of age story. It's unexpected, sad. So you know how we write in America, we like happy endings. It doesn't have a happy ending, but
Oh,
it has great action. The fighting sequences are amazing. It's really well done. The prequel for this franchise, so I really really like it.
okay. So the Kingsman. So I've never seen that before. Any of them. So
Like,
how many is it? It's four. Okay. All right. So the Kingsman. So check that out, people. So let's jump into some of these topics. So I don't know if you guys remember, a long time ago there was a story about a man in Asia, and he married this woman, and he married this woman, and they had children, and the children were ugly. And that's when he discovered that she had had plastic surgery, and so she did not look, had he known what she looked like up front, he would not have married her, because he would have known that his children would look a certain way.
nigga.
So he sued her and actually won. He
For what? Are
he
you
sued
kidding
her
me?
and won, because I think it was deception. It was she deceived him, because had he known what she originally looked like, he would have never married her. So, in leading into that, there's a story recently about a woman who gives up her baby, and she sues the donor for $2.8 million after alleging that he lied about his ethnicity, educational background, and relationship status. So she's a 30-year-old woman from Tokyo, Japan, and she made a shocking decision about her child due to allegations she made about her sperm donor. And a lawsuit that is that is the first for Japan. The woman is suing her sperm donor for $2.8 million, because she says he lied to her about his marital status, ethnicity, educational background, which caused her to give the baby up, allegedly discovering this information. Apparently, the unidentified woman and her husband wanted a second child and opted to use a sperm donor after discovering the husband had some hereditary condition. So apparently this was important. She is now sued, because she has now decided to give up the baby because it's not going to have the intended outcome. So outside of this being already just being bizarre and crazy, and while I understand because apparently when people do sperm donations, they select donors that they want based off certain criteria. If they come from good stock, if what type of IQ the person had, eye color, things that the baby can inherit, they basically they choose donors based off of these qualities.
Mm.
So I mean I get it, but would you how you feel, Farley? Tell me how you feel.
I feel like Natel feel fucking crazy. First of all, this has to be a China thing. It just seems really weird. China is already all into people's household and how they have kids, make babies. And so
Mhm.
I'm not surprised that they even took this case because I was like, this can't be United States of America. It just can't be. Um, First of all, picking your child's donor out of a book is not going to guarantee you that you're going to get any of this stuff because your genes could still be dominating the pool at some kind of point. Like semen is not the determining factor, and somebody self-reporting their traits is like, what do you think? Like this is so risky that you want to do this. Like I'm gonna design a baby. Like,
But
come on.
people do design
But
their
that is
children.
not designing a baby.
But and people do are some people are very selective about whom they lay in lay up with and have children with because they don't want certain outcomes.
But you cannot predict the future. You
No,
can
you
say you
can't,
can give
but you
yourself,
can help it.
but and God may just say, ha ha, he, ha ha. Like I remember, I know several interracial couples where the mama is black, and the daddy is white.
Hmm.
That baby came out white,
Yes,
right?
yes,
Who expects that? Like it won't even not even like a mixed baby. It was white. Like it was
yeah,
like it was the mama here, or does this baby belong to somebody else? But
right.
the way we know is because the mama pushed it out. So either she white and they got a pure blood baby,
Yeah.
but this it don't shake out in the mix. It just don't. It just don't make sense. And I really think that people they need to fucking stop, boo. Like
But I think the lawyer, the fake lawyer in me, I have a case here.
well, apparently in China you do, but not in America.
I think in America we can set a precedent
I don't think you should.
because it's really based off deception.
But
This is
who should they be suing? The sperm bank?
well, I don't think it was a bank. So the way that it's reading is as if because they're saying that the donor lied about his relationship status. So there has to be some form of personal. We went somewhere. I selected you. We had an interview. I selected you to put your stuff in the cup for me. So there was some type of conversation that happened where
Well, I'm just going to say I'm speaking into the mic. Um, this is dumb. This is really dumb, and
I agree.
it it kind of reminds me of like when like it doesn't make sense. Like you really I don't know. They should have did it more legal way. Like you should
I
have did
agree.
blood work. But what does a person's relationship status have to do with my sperm? Like me being married to somebody and you want my sperm are kind of two different things.
Well, in other countries, those things have way more significant weight than they do for us here. So I don't know what the significance of that was, if he was actually married and he shouldn't have been married or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I am interested to see how this plays out. So I will follow the story closely because I want to see if she actually wins, if she actually gets what she's asking for, because they've now given up the baby. But
That is so. Wait a minute. They actually made a baby, and now they put the baby in foster care, and they homeless because the dude lied.
yes, because he
So
lied.
who was infertile? The daddy.
The no, he wasn't infertile. They already had a child. They were trying to have a second one, and some hereditary issue arose, so they opted to get a donor.
She should have got a divorce and found her a new nigga.
Okay, so the next topic we're gonna go The next topic we're gonna move on to is, so I saw this on a page that I follow, and I have my own thoughts and ideas about it, but I want to engage the crowd. And they tell, if you're still there, if you could join, because I want to engage, like, especially because now you're newly engaged. Congratulations. Um, I want to get your opinion on this topic. So the question was, can men and women be real friends?
Real?
Real friends, yes. Like real platonic friends. Can men and women be real friends? What do you think,
Yes.
Fred?
I mean, hey, hi.
You're gay though, it's different.
I'm not gay.
Yes, you are. You gay.
Told you that.
It's different. It's different.
Who told you that?
What?
Who told you that?
Our conversations we be having. Our
Gay?
conversations we had. Gay.
Oh
Gay
no,
as fuck.
no,
Gay
no.
a gay AF.
See, I don't appreciate you exposing my business like that.
Baby, it's several episodes where you talked about being
I
gay.
think I really I like to share. I have friends in all spaces, so I just like
Uh-huh.
to share. I'm actually looking, to help somebody make a baby. So I
Are
don't
you really? I know we talked about this. Are you serious or are you just being sarcastic right now? Because I'm gonna dog you about this later.
know. Can men and women be, when you say real friends, they got to qualify. What is a real
Like
friend?
a platonic friend.
But meaning that they don't do what?
No, like we don't have sex, but we act as regular friends. Like we spend time together. I think of you on your birthdays, like what friends do.
So, that's the problem. That statement you made earlier was really problematic about
It-
people's sexuality, because what it does is that it's right under your nose and you don't even know it.
No, no,
Right?
no, no, no. Wait. What part of
Because
what I said was
that
problematic?
somebody was gay, and because they gay, they can't be friends with a woman.
That's not what I. That is not what I
That
said.
is not
No,
a real
that
platonic relationship,
is
because
not what I
a
said.
man
What
in
I
the
said
friendship is
is
gay,
no. What no? What I was saying was that because you are gay,
not
this
me, whoever you're talking about.
well, whoever, if the
Yeah.
opposite sex that is a friend is gay, then they naturally don't have an attraction to you. So those other barriers, which is what this question was leading to, is not a barrier,
But
or it
that's
shouldn't
outdated.
be.
That's outdated because
So then you're
sexuality. Because listen, people, like I tell people this all the time. Some days I be liking women parts, and I be like, oh, what is going on there? And so
But
I,
I already told you need to try coochie at least once.
I don't think that has anything to do with it. I knew
But
I
I
was.
think you should try coochie.
I don't think I need to do that to do whatever I need to do.
But
You know,
I think you should try coochie at least once.
I'll pass.
I think you should try coochie.
I think you should too.
It really it's repulsive to me.
And there you have it, people.
But coochie don't repulse you though.
Okay.
So
So
so the thought of vagina repulses you.
not anymore. It used to.
The thought of it, like, no.
Yeah, because I've evolved. Like I don't have to look at it. I don't have to really, all I gotta do is, put some semen in it. Really. But I think just like I learned to eat healthy, I can learn to you we are human, so we are capable of evolving. But based on your logic, I do think it is possible. What I think is not possible is when the two people on the outside of the relationship, the boyfriend and the girlfriend, or the two friends,
Mm-hmm.
right? Their level of insecurity and their inability to have platonic friendships is what I think is driving this conversation with people not being able to have a true friendship.
So I think that is a part of it because I've experienced all of them. The way I grew up, I naturally befriend men or people of the opposite sex. It's very easy for me.
Mm.
So I've had several things happen. One where it was truly platonic. There was never I never had any attraction for that person. I don't believe they had attraction for me, but we were really good friends, and once they began to date and start to get married, then our relationship was a problem for their relationship that they were trying to develop. So I've experienced that. I've also experienced at some point or another, even though nothing ever happened, nothing was initiated, there was some type of joke about, you fine, or, I would do something. Or there was something that happened where they attempted to test the water and it was shut down. So I've experienced not being able to maintain long term male friendships for those very two different reasons.
Mm,
Outside of if they were just gay and they didn't there was no attraction, and then their mate or partner also didn't feel threatened because I was the opposite sex and there was no attraction. So I didn't experience that at all with someone who was not heterosexual.
I see it happen. So I mean, just beware.
I'm just saying I haven't.
Yeah,
So
there. But it's so riddled with the sequencing of events because I know in the gay community, a lot of people that you become friends with, like 80% of the times, you probably had some intimate relationship
mhm.
or sexual relationship,
Wow.
and you have the desire to do. You get together, you decide. I mean, it was good, but we can be friends.
Right.
I know, yeah, I can speak to that. Several people, I'm just like, yeah, we're just really good friends, and there's nothing else there. Now, I think and I know lots of people who, if we go to a party, multiple people in the room have had a sexual relationship with each other, and their partners are with them in the room. And if their partners knew that they had had sexual relationships with many other people in the room, they will probably be weary. But because they don't know, and it doesn't really mean, I think the value of the value that's placed on sex from I'm not gonna say heterosexual and homosexual community, but based on people's value systems and what is important to them, um, it's really difficult. Like, I don't care if you kiss somebody else. I don't care if you da da da. You always say, "Well, we're not normal."
I think
Well,
I think it's more intense for the heterosexual community. But is it because though is it more forgiving in the homosexual, I don't even like that word, but is it more forgiving in that community because it's deemed smaller?
smaller meaning not a big deal. No, because there are people who have traditional values and are
Yeah.
LGBT, and they're not down for that, right? There's some people who just like, I'm a worldwide woman. Not that that's the wrong thing. I'm a one man or one woman woman, and
Yeah.
I don't share. And I think people like this are really possessive, and I
Yeah.
think everything always leads back to me not wanting to be in a relationship because people are possessive and want to own you. I'm like, y'all really think that that people don't have a life or a sexual history before they met you? Like, I think it's the real unrealistic expectations that people have on their partners when they get relationships. Like, yeah, I
Yeah.
like, come on, okay. And just because we had sex with them and now I'm together with you, that does not equate that our relationship is going to be on the brinks. Like, if I tell you, am I still going to be able to be a friend to this person because we're cool? And will you trust me enough to say there's nothing here, right?
Yeah.
And if I tell you every interaction that I have with that person, if you feel threatened by them, and especially if we have a longer history together than you and I, it will become crazy. And I think that has, regardless of, you know, orientation, that's just kind of like a people thing. Because if you're insecure, easily threatened, anything can make your relationship crumble.
Yeah. So I think like even on this topic and kind of going back, removing partners, outside partners. I think that it is I think that it's very rare that a man and a woman can be real friends. Um when there is an attraction to the opposite sex. And at least real friends long term. I think it's very rare.
Meaning
I
that's
I
so
used to
weird.
I used to like know it can happen because I've always had male friends until I started to experience one the effects of them getting a partner that is like hell no. So and then removing that and then starting to experience at some point or another discovering that they do have an attraction to me that is beyond friendship.
Yeah, but it's real like, okay, that's your attraction, but this ain't going nowhere
Yeah, I know. I mean, you could definitely control it,
until
but
we
you know,
drunk and we do the do.
tell us your thoughts in the comment section, guys. So we're gonna move on. We're gonna move on, and on that note, so okay, I saw a post, and so basically, it is about attraction and appearance. So, the post was about a lady who wasn't physically fit or physically attractive. At one point or another, she knew a guy at that time of her life. He felt that she was very nice, ideal for the type of woman he would date, except for he was not visibly attracted to her.
Hmm.
Couple years goes by, she works really hard on her body, she gets herself together, they cross paths again. Now he's attracted, he wants to try to pursue her. She's now conflicted because she feels like his pursuit is solely based on physical attraction. And like we all do, we kind of adopt this mindset of, you didn't want me at my worst, all of that. So how I feel about it as people are attracted to what they're attracted to, and um if I can't feel like I want to touch you, kiss you, or hold you because of whatever the reason, whether you a bald-headed hoe or you overweight or underweight or your butt ain't big enough or it's too small, whatever, I'm not going to be able to think of you in a romantic sense. And even if I tried, because I have attempted in the past to force myself into a relationship with a guy that was great, but I was not attracted to him. And let me tell you, it blew up. It blew up.
Because he started smelling himself, huh?
No, it was just subconsciously because I was not attracted to him. I did not do things that I would normally do with someone I was attracted to. And just small things like touching him or holding his hand because I wasn't attracted. And so, but I didn't notice it until we got into an argument and he blew up about it and was like, "You don't even touch me." And I was like, "You know what? You right. You right. I don't." And I felt like crap. I did. But this ain't about me. This story, this is about, you know, level of attraction to people who may be a good match for you.
So baby girl was fat and ugly.
I won't say she was ugly
To
because I
him,
don't.
to him.
To him, she was unattractive. So
But
I'm guessing she
yeah,
was not ugly. She was
ugly.
just fat because she lost weight. And then he was like, all right.
After she lost weight, she was like, all right.
After she lost weight, he was trying to holler.
So he dated her for her potential.
No, he didn't date her.
So what's the
They
story here?
they knew each other. She liked him. He was not attracted to her. He thought she was nice and internally she was everything he might have wanted to date, but he was not attracted to her. Some years later they ran into each other. She lost weight. She was fit, looked amazing. Then he was like, "What's up?" because he remembered who she was as a person, but now her outside matched what he also liked.
Period. Sometimes Jesus gotta reach way down to pick you up. Jesus will pick you up if you have to reach way down. And
Thank you, Jaquel. I
it's
did one
okay.
time. I did. I'm gonna tell y'all this story. I go ahead for early. I gotta go into story time.
I'm just saying, I'm not even gonna my left swipe left game is so strong. It can be I am surface level like a puddle, honey. I am not. I can't do it. Vanity is me. You
I
gotta.
need
People will see you before they get to know your inner part.
Annie for really has declined and denied over a pair of shoes.
Because if you make those kind of mistakes and people can see them, you're not finna embarrass me looking rusty and raggedy. And it's just certain things, and you gotta have it together.
But you can fix shoes. You can't
You
fix
can't fix taste.
fix shoes.
What happened if I gotta leave the country? Do you out here gallivanting out on the internet looking bad? Gotta go come back and do cleanup.
Honey, so let me go into story time. So some years ago, it was over 10 years ago, um, I had a conversation with a group of people in my life, and the conversation at its core was basically like lift up some of your standards, date people you wouldn't normally date because that's where the pot of gold is going to be. So this guy approached me sometime short after that. He was nothing that I would ever talk to. I wouldn't even think twice. But because he happened to approach me at this opportune time, I gave it a chance, right? So we went on a date, and it turned out to be the best 8 months of my life. Like, he was great. He treated me he treated me like gold. He was just the sweetest person, so attentive, just a great guy. Like, and I'm sure if he's married today, he's a great husband for somebody, but he was amazing.
What's his name?
Um, but that is neither here nor there. But I was not attracted to him. I was never attracted to him. And when we had this blow up conversation, he started to say, that I was cold and I never touched him. And I'm not a cold person, but bitch. So but the things that he was saying in the moment, I'm thinking through it, and he was he was truthful about it. And I hadn't even noticed it, and I felt so bad because he didn't deserve that.
You
Felt
deserve.
really bad, and he was just the sweetest person. He deserved so much more, but I couldn't give it to him because I was not attracted. So when people say attraction don't matter, they are lying. It matters.
Let me
You
tell
need to be attracted. I don't care how good. Now somebody can overlook attraction, they scamming. Period.
That's what JT and Carisha taught you to do.
They are scamming, period, because it is hard, and I just couldn't do it. And we went on great trips and all kind of stuff. I mean, all kind of hair weaves and everything, but
You hear that? Moral of the story is if you ugly, you need to have enough money to
that is not the moral.
distract
That is
from
not the moral.
what you look like. And they tell you that money can't buy happiness, but I'm here to tell you that it can.
He was not happy because
But if he had would have got you a Birkin, you would have touched him.
no, I got a lot of stuff. I got all expense paid trips.
At what point did this nigga figure out that you didn't like him after he had invested all this money?
Yeah. I think he knew the whole time. I think he just assumed that I was not affectionate. I wasn't an affectionate person. I think he assumed that and was trying to work through it. And so, yeah.
So when he had reached out to touch you, what happened?
I mean, I would touch him. It was just like, when you are in a relationship with people, you might lean on their shoulder, rub their back when you stand in the line, like just those things. I never did it.
So basically,
like me and you, I've never touched you outside of like maybe a church hug. Like I don't, because no attraction there. So I'm not like, oh, I'm not doing all of that.
Whatever. We're gonna.
I'm not. What I'm saying is like, like we
Don't,
like
don't
brother
try to fix
sister.
it.
We are like brother sister. So I don't.
So when you're in the movie theater line, y'all like this.
I'm just standing there, and if he put his arm around me, then I would let him do it. But normally, if I'm in the movie theater line with somebody and we like this, my other hand is on their back.
Because you're a temptress.
I am doing all of these things, and I never
Because you're a temptress.
be.
And that's that on that.
I am okay, whatever. I am not. So yeah, attraction matters. But ultimately, her thing was she was feeling some kind of way
Mm-hmm.
about this is so ghetto.
It's in the
So ghetto.
meat right there, girl. Go ahead.
Oh, this is so ghetto.
What?
She was feeling some type of way about the fact that now he's attracted to her and she's feeling like it's solely based off physical and not who she is at her core. But he actually liked her at her core. He just couldn't lay with her at
You
her physical at the
see,
time.
see your true colors shining through. But listen, y'all, you have really got to focus. If you are not the most attractive person in your relationship, because this is very normal. Once you start getting older, you start looks become secondary. You find something that is really attractive to you, to the person
Yes.
that you can deal with. Now, if you ugly, you can be that. If the person finds you unattractive, ugly, it's still gonna be a hard sell, baby. Them cheering.
So basically, you better have some money, is what Pharrell is saying. I am not saying that. I will say, at the age that we are now at, uh, as we were approaching, another
40.
age range.
40. But in June we'll be 35 and a half. So we'll be, yeah. We get to round up now.
I don't. I never round. I don't round to nothing.
Girl. You know how much this
I
costs?
am. I am. I am speechless at the ghetto that's happening
I'm
right
getting,
now.
I'm getting all this meat I paid for her. This Carol didn't die in vain.
I am dying on the inside.
We praise God for your sacrifice. But if you ugly, you gotta have some other quality about you that people can overlook it. Cause you see people all the time, you're like, oh my God, how she get him or how he get her, and it's the money.
So should she?
Walk away.
So she should walk away.
Well, no, really, she should actually, because now she lost weight. You cute, baby. Now she gonna go. You should go have sex with lots of people.
She lost close to 100 pounds, is what it's saying.
Yeah, she should go have sex with lots of people. Figure out what she wants, and if she likes him, he'll still be there, but he may not want her anymore if she goes to the street. So it's a dilemma that you'll have to really weigh easily because
It's not his business if she in the streets. You're in the discreet streets.
yeah.
Streets of discretion is
But
what we
if she
call
lost
it.
all that weight, she probably still thinks she is fat. So
Body dysmorphia is real, but she's kind of conflicted because he only viewed her previously as a platonic friend when
did
she
he
was
tell her?
fat.
Did he tell her that, or she made that assumption?
All the details are not there.
But we're
Um,
gonna assume that she made that discovery. They left that out conveniently because I don't know. Sometimes you gotta change yourself to be with other people. You caught it, didn't you? Sometimes you have to change.
Move it along, Katie. This
You
is oh my god. Okay. All right. So all right. So speaking of dating, okay, so I saw a post about serial dating when you're dating online. So this guy, he was talking about his dating life. And so I want to say my personal life will at no point be used in this conversation because you're on some bullshit tonight. And I'm telling you up front.
Honey, I got all the controls over here, so
So he was talking about how he serial dates. And so he had one week where he dated 7 women in 6 days, right?
sounds familiar.
And so the conversation that came up was he's like, at one point he was having to put women on calendar dates, like, hey, no, I can't do that. I'll need to put you in on the 14th,
Yeah.
um, so on and so forth. So some of the feedback that I saw in the comments was, is this like an addiction? Is serial dating an addiction? When you have that many options, everyone at some point become a blur. Which, I could see how that could happen. Some people do get a little blurred. Um, so they're like wondering if they're using it as a numbing tool or avoidance of genuine
Oh
attachment or
my God.
connection. Is it
Everybody's a therapist now, huh?
Oh, go ahead, Furley.
Girl. So I, in my prime, I'm still in my prime actually. I thought I was in my prime then, but I used to date 6 or 7 people at a time.
Mm,
And by date, I mean fuck. So you had to clearly, like, you can't get these wires crossed. But even if you did,
uh-huh.
just tell the truth and they would be okay.
But do you think someone that's dating that amount of people at once or just serially dating,
Well, what are you supposed
do
to do?
you no, what I'm saying is, do you think they are looking for an actual true connection or are they just having fun?
Both. I think the actual goal gets lost in the function or in the search because and I used to have this issue is that I was like, I wish I could put this part of this person and this person and that and let's build a nigga.
Let's build a nigga, yeah.
But you can't do that. And so having to choose like
It's
to
like that Betty Wright syndrome. Go ahead.
what who Betty Wright? I mean, what is
Betty
she
Wright, huh?
what are you talking about?
Betty Wright when she said a piece of man is better than having no man.
That's what some people believe, and that's why people
Oh, I
stay,
know they do.
they stay in these domestic relationships where they bringing all the money. It's like, well, baby, I got somebody to come home to, which is why I stay in this 3 bedroom house by myself, single. You gotta go. You can't stay here
Honey.
because the food I eat, I bought it. I
When
bought
she on your feet, you bought
it. I
them.
bought it. Right? I'm an independent woman, like Destiny's Child said. So it can't be one of these things where you got to decide. You either got to decide I'm gonna be in a polyamorous relationship. Y'all gonna be sister wives, sister cousins. But I'm gonna be honest, and if I'm dating that many people now, I say, well, I am actively dating, and that's the good, nice way to put it. Is that I'm actively dating, and so basically, whoever gonna swim up to the top is what we dealing with, and so you gotta, it was this phrase like you gotta earn me. That was big. That was a big thing, and I'm like,
Mhm.
what have you done to earn your place in my life today?
How you gonna earn your keep?
How? You don't let nobody else beat you because the thing that you won't do, these other 3 been doing it consistently.
So do you think that kind of blurs some people's reality of, it's like, okay, let's say that is your intended outcome. Your intended outcome is to get into a meaningful relationship, however you define that to look, but your intended outcome is to get into a meaningful relationship with one person, right? And you're going on day after day, and it's not even with the same people, it's just in 14 days you've gone out with 17 people. Now,
Yeah.
I don't think anything wrong with that at all, but does does that does that blur the lines of what your intended outcome is?
No. Um, it's a job, right? You go to the same job. You're trying to get the analogy how it's manageable. You go to the same job, you might do different tasks at that job, and these tasks might equal people that you date, but you still get the job done. But if you're not focused, you know, these things may not get you to the place that you need to get to. But um, it can. I think it can. It definitely, the lines can definitely be blurred, but your starting five can become your starting two to your starting one. But if I
Right.
think if you have too many options and you don't have a system to vet these candidates, then you're going to continually just be going on one time dates, and
And I
that's
think
not the
you
goal.
know the problem though.
Yeah, yeah,
Is that if that is your intention, but you don't, like you said, have a system to vet these things, then you'll be on 87 dates in 2 months,
yeah.
and none of them are repeat dates.
Yeah, because there was a either it was a movie that I watched somewhere about a guy who went on 1,000 dates.
51st dates.
No, that's the girl. She lost her memory.
Oh, okay.
This guy was going on a different date, and like you said, he had this thing. I got a date at. I got a lunch. I got a breakfast date. I got a lunch date. Got a
Yeah.
dinner date, and I got a late date.
Hmm.
And he was seeing four people a day. And the movie just kind of showed like it may not be the people. Like if
Yeah.
you dated this many people, you probably don't know what you're looking for. And if it's staring you in the face, you don't know how to identify it. You don't know the questions to ask to get the information that you need. So it looks easy, and if you're going on that many dates, you must be going on coffee dates because y'all don't be wanting to pay, and that's what I want to talk about. That's the real injustice in this whole thing.
How do you know you on a date with a woman?
This is what the world says. In the world that I come from, I'm gonna pay.
Well,
So
I'll say this. So women, now it is changing. But for the most part, some women are willing to pay. They do offer, if especially if they ask. But I will say this, a lot of men are not even offering dates. So
what do you define a date? What's considered?
that was going to be my next question. So from what I heard in these internet streets is that when people are out here, especially doing online dating, the initial date is just a meetup. Like they meet somewhere, they might have tea and coffee just to see if the connection is good, and then they'll actually schedule a date to go out to dinner or an activity or something. So
That's a lot.
it
Just
is.
go on a damn date. And if by the time the entree get here, and you can already know it's a dub, like, all right, can I get this to go? Like, it was really nice meeting you, but this is not going to work. And people may think that's rude, but you've got to approach these things like that. Like, why would you just, to be nice, sit through the dinner?
Yeah, I think we should follow someone that is doing online dating and just kind of see how that works. How that's working. Did you drink tonight? Are you high? Was that steak infused with something?
Oh, I did.
That explains it. Because I'm so vexed right now. I am so vexed. So
Why are you vexed? Tell me more.
rolling right along. So this had to be the week of. So when I go through discovering topics and content for us to discuss, sometimes none of it rolls together, but for whatever this week, everything was kind of connected in some way or another. And so I came across this thing about women, but I think it applies to men too. Culturally being raised or developed differently. And so Black women aren't really raised or developed to be spouses. um where some cultures they are. I saw the face. Go ahead.
I want you because I'm trying to follow it.
Now I saw the face. I know there was a thought.
The
What
the
was the
thought
thought?
was what the fuck? Like it sounds really R. Kelly-ish to me. Like raised, groomed to be in service to another human. Ain't none of us raised to be spouses.
Yes, we are. Yes, we are.
In what ways?
Yes, we are. And we would be lying to act as if that is not the case. There are cultures and or people that are raised and taught from children how to be submissive, how
Oh,
to
so,
serve. Like
so
you, but you're taught that even through church how to serve.
the Lord,
Y'all be serving them pastors and all kind of shit.
the Lord,
I'm just gonna speak it what it is.
the
Y'all be serving the men folk that be sitting in the pulpit like they are a god.
yeah, that's what Christianity is about.
No, yeah. So it ain't, the Lord is to serve them people.
Yes, that person is the Lord. To-
Okay. So that person, be it wife or whatever, we are groomed. And women have been groomed. That's why we get tea sets and microwave ovens and all kinds of shit because we're groomed to cook and to bake and to clean. All those things are true from children. That's why you get baby dolls. How you take care of a baby. It's grooming. I don't care how you flip it, it's grooming. You're groomed. Boys are groomed to be a man, to do all this other bullshit. You are groomed from a child up to be something of some sort. Now, if you want to call it R. Kelly or whatever, but you've been groomed. You were groomed to praise God. You were groomed to serve people of leadership. You were groomed to be a man. You were groomed.
okay, you're drawing
That's
it
not reach. It's grooming. It's grooming. So when
for a wife to be a wife or husband. That's what I'm responding
but
to.
it is grooming. So at some point, your mother or your grandmother was taught when you, even as a child, come in here. Let me show you how to roll these biscuits. When the man comes home, you make sure his plate is warm. Like these are things that women were taught.
Yeah,
They
um,
were.
but unfortunately, we have lost all of that because
It's not all lost.
grandma is 30.
It's not all lost.
It is.
No, it's not.
I think in the greater scheme of things, like the ones who are still learning it in these online communities and like it's small. Or it's such a it's not mainstream culture as it once was. You know, with the women's rights movement and wanting to women's suffrage movement, that started the shift of the woman's place in America.
Right, but I think that's assuming and that's a lot of the conflict is that is assuming what you interpret the definition of submission to be, what you interpret the definition of serving someone to be, or what a wife to be, because it is oftentimes being reduced to only being the cook or the being just told what to do, and that's not how I don't think that's how it should have ever been defined. But that's why some women have issue when they hear submit to your husband, because they hear I don't have a voice, I don't have a place, I'm just to be told what to do and to do the everything for him and receive nothing in return. And that's not what that is.
Yeah, I don't disagree. I just think that in the culture that we have and the culture that I'm around, um, I don't see women anymore being explicitly like it was before. Like you're gonna get everything you're doing is to so you can be able to raise a family because you can just see it. You can see it in the kind of kids that are being raised. I work in education, and I know for sure that these women are not being groomed to be. wives and mothers.
But that's precisely my point though, because you work in Black education and this is what you're seeing.
Yeah,
So what I'm saying, for the context of what I'm referencing or what they were saying, was that this is very noticeable in Black women, where other cultures are still very invested in developing their children into spouses.
yeah, because you can't you but whoever wrote this is very
No,
racist.
it was a discussion amongst a various group of people and cultures, and there were women that our age who talked about getting corrected by their grandparents and mothers when they brought their boyfriend over, and this is what happened, or what they were really taught. This was a very diverse group of people talking about their experiences and how it's showing up in their dating.
And how diverse were their ages?
They were all like 30s, late 20s, 30s, like in around our age.
And all of them were saying that they noticed the difference or that they were
The
raised.
men were the ones saying that they noticed the difference between the dating in the different cultures of women. The different cultures of women were talking about how they were raised, and it was all kind of different. Yeah.
Well, yeah, it makes sense because everybody, all of these cultures did not experience the same savagery that we did.
Right. Right.
It's so problematic for Black men to do that. Like you
So
go
that's why I say, because I said we have it. We didn't get it because we were taught survival.
right.
Yeah.
Like I think innately we know what to do. It's almost kind of like genetic. It's almost like being in the South. It's just certain kind of things, the gentleness and the
Yeah.
care and concern just for everybody. But being raised to be another man, to be someone's servant, just like it ain't the move. And it was not a that's a luxury. And I want Black men to be very clear about this because your Black self will go outside of the Black culture or Black women to find something that's missing. These people had a luxury of not experience harm and trauma. Not all Black people have that experience because their ancestors work
Yeah.
hard to make sure they have access to other things.
Yeah.
But being raised to be a wife is a luxury that Black people don't often have because they're trying to figure out how to eat, how to survive, and how to provide for the people that they brought into this world. So yeah, Black straight men are always
Well,
letting me.
they now I would say it was a conversation. They were not, the conversation wasn't geared to say, it was just to talk about the differences in cultures and what the focus is when people are growing up. And that's a noticeable one in our culture. Is often because of lots of various reasons, systemic racism, a whole lot of other things, where our families were targeted. So there was no focus on being a wife because we're too busy trying to survive, make it, cut through all the red tape. There was no focus on that, where that may have not been your struggle. So yes, you can focus on, being feminine and, learning how to do things that are, like you said, a luxury.
Yeah, watch Emily Dickinson. I started watching that the other night,
Hmm.
and just certain Emily Dickinson poems did not get published until after she died. Her father was like, "No, you are going to be a wife." Like you think about these white families in the old days, they had gentlemen callers, suitors.
Yeah.
Like it was a whole thing. Like you at home,
They
and
went to college to get married.
we bring in yeah. And I'm not going to college to get a degree.
No, that's why people were graduating with secretary degrees, because the only reason for them to go to college was to get married, to get a husband.
Right, like because I could this will help me manage my household.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right, like so much privilege in that.
Yes.
But I don't know. I should have,
That's a whole nother conversation.
mm, it's real janky. Mm.
That's a whole nother conversation. So it's a, whole nother conversation. So, um, to lighten it. So this week, Cardi B is in court, finally with social media talk host influencer Tasha K. So
I thought she already beat her. I thought.
No, no, no. So this was I think the defamation lawsuit, but now they're actually in court, like they're having court days testifying and stuff like that. So, so if you don't know, a lawsuit ensued because Tasha K through Unwind with Tasha K, she's mostly gossip. Um, she had some type of addiction to Cardi B, so much so that she kept running these stories that Cardi B had herpes and blah blah blah. So she ended up getting sued by Cardi B. Cardi B had to take because of the defamation lawsuit, she had to take an actual STD test, and her results are public. She does not have herpes or none of the other diseases that Tasha K said that she had. So interesting. Cardi B pulled a what I call the white woman tears at court.
Oh, you know
So
that.
Cardi says that in her testimony today that the allegations from Tasha K made her want to commit suicide. She did not want to live anymore.
I
She
love it.
didn't feel like she deserved to be Culture's mom. It
Mhm.
affected her marriage because she couldn't even sleep with her husband anymore. And I was just like,
Yes.
like she was in there, like she was in pure ruins over this whole. She said I felt defeated and depressed and I didn't even want to sleep with my husband. I was here for it.
I can't wait for her next project because it's gonna be about all this stuff.
Yes, yes.
It's
When
gonna
was her last one anyway?
be, if it's up and it's still, she putting out singles. People, albums is not a real thing. We just need a good 1 minute 30 second song, and we good.
I miss albums though.
I still listen to them all the way through and then be done in 30 minutes, and I'll
No,
be.
I miss like 1995, 1997 albums where it was 18 tracks, snippets, interludes, like it was a production.
I hate an interlude.
I miss those types of albums.
Well,
Like
luckily you can get them on iTunes still, but they not.
at
It'll,
the time, Bad Boy had the best albums, like Maze, Harlem World. Like he had the best skits on his albums. They were funny. Like
yeah, I just wanted the music.
I loved it. Like
That on Ludacris, the whole skit was pretty good.
yeah, on Ludacris, yeah, that was good. So I don't know if I wanted to talk about this. This is the last topic of the night. Let's go for it. All right. So Ari, I mean, if you don't know who Ari Fletcher is G Herbo's baby mama, now Moneybag Yo's girlfriend.
Oh wow.
A couple weeks ago, that's for you if you don't know her or why she's famous, that's why she's famous. Um, so a couple weeks ago, she did a podcast interview, and on this podcast interview, she was talking about the differences between her and Moneybag Yo and how he has challenged her to mature. And she was saying how she's toxic and she's from Chicago and she's used to the fighting, the toxic love. And oftentimes he challenges her in the middle of her ramping up. He'll be like, how old are you? And she'll like step back. So one of the things she mentioned was, she be waiting for him to like, he'll let her leave and she'd be like, well, why you ain't pull your gun out on me? And so that kind of exploded across the internet because as if she was glorifying domestic violence and having someone pull out a gun on you is not cute and not funny and blah blah blah. So she then, in true Instagram influencer fashion, she went on a live to tell people that this ain't about domestic violence, they dumb. And it was horrible. Like when talk about needing a PR person, she needed a PR person to shut her down. It's not about that. They want to be the victim so bad and This ain't about no crazy, right? So as luck would have it, she was also, you know, an ambassador for Fenty Savage lingerie line immediately after her collaboration was severed.
Yeah.
As you know, it probably should have been, you know,
Chris
Donna is the face of domestic violence. So how
Survivor.
right, a survivor. So how would you think that was going to go over?
She
Um
she did.
I don't think she really cared. And so there was on Claudia Jordan's panel, which she has with Lisa Ray and Selena Johnson and some other people, they were talking about Lisa Ray was talking about how this is prime example of the difference between an influencer and an actual celebrity, because influencers don't understand, they don't always understand, they don't get the PR training to understand the level of influence that they have and the things that they say. And she talked about how as a celebrity they have to go through all of this training on how you show up, and which I don't know any, because I'm not a celebrity and I am not an influencer to that level. So it's like I don't really know. But I have to think in this day and age, there was a well or machine for celebrities at that time. Like they couldn't even be pregnant, they couldn't be married, they couldn't even really be dating back in the day because it messed with their image. They were coached on how to have interviews, how to speak publicly. Of course, it is at the drop of a dime, you're live and you're able to say whatever you want, which you should be. But we also know, because you speak to these kids every day in your own profession, somebody on your campus is going who is influenced by Ari Fletcher and think that she's a bad bitch is going to equate when she's having it out with her nigga and he hit her bop bop and pull a gun on her, Ari Fletcher, oh, this is love because he don't want me to go nowhere.
Well, I'm going to go on record saying this, and I probably shouldn't, but Ari Fletcher is not the reason why women equate violence with love.
I didn't say that. I didn't say that. We're talking about influencing.
Same thing.
It's
It's,
not
to
okay.
me, it's the same thing. I think it's. I'm not going to draw all those conclusions that you did. I do agree that people with platforms have to be careful about what their actions communicate,
Yes.
especially if they desire to work with other brands, right? Because we can't attach our brand that's not filled with any drama. It's all good. It ain't messy. Fenty is not messy at all,
And she opening stores this year.
you know. And then first for the owner to be a domestic violence survivor, and then for you to perpetuate these things. Rihanna did the same. She did the exact thing that was necessary that you have to do.
Yeah.
And hopefully this is not the end for this young lady, but it probably is, because if she did what you said she did, went live, somebody has captured it, it's archived on the internet forever. And so when you search her name, I searched her name while we were talking, and that's all that came up.
Mhm.
I don't even have to see the live, but I can see the storyline, and that's the thing that people, like you said, they don't really understand that this is a job.
Yeah.
You can use your influence to really create a portfolio. I do wish that you know folks would just talk to these folks. People get thrashed into celebrity status, and influencer and celebrity is the same thing to me. Because we can be celebrities to people.
Yeah.
It's just a real celebrity. That kind of had me roll an eye, at least.
Well, I'm
With
not.
that
If
part.
it, I think we take things too literal. I understood what she was saying. Like
I
most,
do too,
like
but still,
no, I understood what she was saying. Like, an influencer, that is basically someone that is guided their own way. Like they've carved their way into the hearts of the people across the world in their own way, on their own terms. Most celebrities, as we think of them, like Elisa Ray or Claudia Jordan or Vivica Fox, they went through training, and then they had an agent and a manager, and then they were told they need to take this class, and they didn't take this speech lesson, and they had to be groomed to be accepted. And so I understood what she was saying, the difference between the two, because they didn't get afforded at that time the ability to be 100% themselves, raw and uncut.
Yeah, and I think it's just a different time, and
Yeah.
the more you say it, the more they sound like relics of the past. It's just influencers are not celebrities. Okay, whatever, because nobody's checking for y'all but us. You know, it's I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like the tone it was given. I understand what she was saying, but the tone, how I'm hearing it, and
See, so you can't not, not like something that you didn't hear. You're hearing me say something that I
well,
don't
how do
know.
people make their opinions based off what people say?
But I'm just saying, all I'm saying is I understood, so it didn't bother me because I
Mm.
understood what was being said.
Yeah, people definitely need somebody in their corner when you get to a place where you're getting brand deals for billion-dollar companies.
Yeah.
Like my thing is, you done dated all these rappers, right? And I'm not gonna say that. Somebody around her, and whoever recorded this, was it a
She
live?
recorded it.
I
She recorded a
thought,
lot.
I thought it was on a
Oh,
podcast.
the podcast, yeah. She was on a podcast. I forget, it's a popular
But
podcast.
was it live? Like I
Yes,
fought
it was live.
them,
It was
because I'm like, oh no no baby, mm-mm. No 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 no, and try to get her. Hopefully they try to get her to clarify. Like,
it's live. But I mean, I don't fault the podcast because that's views for them. That's the point. That is their point. See,
oh, this
you
world,
toggle the fence. You
this
toggle
world.
the fence like you were so progressive a second ago. Now it's a new, it was a new world and they relics, but now you live it in relic world.
No, I'm saying
They should have took it off. I would have took it off. No,
no.
you
It's like
living in this. Say whatever the fuck you want to say. No
the
training,
world,
nothing. Go all in.
the world that we live in is about clicks and likes and shares, and it's very unfortunate because it removes the human element in a lot of things. Where you would say, "All right, baby, we gonna pause, we gonna pause this out. We gonna take this out in post editing because this not good." But because it's good content, they knew this was gonna happen.
But what I think is because even in looking at it, the host was just as raw and ratchet as Ari was.
Mm.
They were bonding over over this stuff. It's like, yeah, girl, I like toxic. I'm toxic too. Like they were bonding over this.
So I wonder if the fan base, because I hear a lot of people talk like this. The people who are outraged are us.
But the crazy part is, right? Some of us live for that. Because remember, I don't know if I remember I told you I was dating a guy and he told me that I wasn't like rah rah enough.
That's
Like because I ain't never like cuss him out. And I'm like, why do I need to get in your face?
because you're boring. You don't love me.
Yeah. That's how that's how I know it's real. And I'm like,
If you don't want me,
showing up
you
every
don't
day ain't
love
real.
me. Go ahead and free yourself.
I'm like,
Don't put your
okay,
time in, so
I
I
can't
know you
get
love me.
I can't get out of pocket for you because that's what you need. You need me to act like I'm gonna hit you. You need me to break stuff. I'm not doing that.
Cause somebody really gonna get hurt.
Yeah.
And I got I got no people depend on me. Ha! Call on me. Wrong
'Cause
song.
I'm a whole nother person when rage hit, and I don't want to be that.
Yeah, I really, but it's so much around violence in our culture that is acceptable, and we don't even bat a second eye, because we are exposed to violence in so many ways. Like you can get on the internet and see fights all day, see
Right.
girls dragging each other, and so we're desensitized to this kind
But
of this.
but it's this may be too deep, and we can stop. But it's at home because
What's
I can remember beatings being given out, and then told you that you're loved after.
Cause the Bible, spare the rod, spoil the child, right?
Yeah.
I agree. It's conditioning, and then it's just our generation now who's those like we not beating our kids. Not
Yeah.
all of us,
Yeah.
but it's like you gotta talk to that nigga, and I'm like, you better beat that nigga ass. But it be like it's giving what?
Hmm.
But those are if you're able to draw those connections, you need to be in therapy.
But I could see that in her situation that she's leaving, which is something she knows she should not do, because he gonna pull a gun or hit her, and then that's how she feels love. It's just saying when like a child goes and does something they shouldn't do, they know their mama or daddy gonna pop them, and then but I love you though. So it's all together. It's blended now as violence and love at the same time.
Yeah, that's why all of us need to be in counseling because
Mm,
we draw all of these conclusions subconsciously from how we were raised and whether it's we not good enough or we can
yeah.
never do anything good enough, your self-esteem, your outlook on life, all of that, how you season your food, if you don't eat leftovers, like all of that stuff from your life.
Let me tell y'all something. I'm done with Ferrari for tonight because let me tell you, I don't eat leftovers. Okay, and that vexes him. I don't know why. It has a lot to do with how I was raised. We didn't really eat leftovers, and none of me and my siblings eat leftovers to this day, unless it was something we really, really wanted. We don't eat leftovers. The food will go out.
And if you ever go out to eat with them, just order a salad because the food is not going to be eaten. Okay.
We eat food.
And you don't even have to buy a meal because they're going to order a lot of food, like they're going to eat it all and just sit there. And then they will actually get it to go. And I just, oh, that's for me. Thank you. And even with groceries, not even just, not even just, it is amazing at the amount of waste that happens in this family.
We do eat food. We do not. I will admit we do not eat food in abundance. As a family, we don't. So a lot of food does go out, but you know.
Yeah.
But the flip side of that is Farrelly always has food to eat for days afterwards because
Always. Don't throw it. Nope, that is mine. I'm going to eat that for 3 days.
so I can like if Farrelly's mine when I'm asking for a box, he like, that's my breakfast because he knows that I'm not going to eat it the next day or after ever.
Unless it's a steak, child. But other
Yeah,
than
not steak. I will eat it the next day.
that, we have to put you a T-bone in the air fryer. When I come there, we're gonna do that because
Honey, 'cause the way you sucked on that tonight.
in the meat.
Anyway, guys, that is all that we had for tonight. That is all that we have for tonight. As always, thank you for joining us. We will be back again next Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time here on Facebook Live. Don't forget to follow us, like us, subscribe to us. We are on all social media platforms. If you have any ideas or would like to be a part of the show or any topic, please don't hesitate to jump in our DMs. We will respond to you. Thank you and good night.